Every night around the same time, Daniel would notice it. A faint, flickering glow bleeding into the corners of his room, soft but steady enough to pull his attention away from whatever he was doing. At first, he thought it was nothing more than an electrical glitch, maybe the old wiring in his family's suburban house sparking behind the walls, or a reflection from a street lamp outside. But the glow wasn't steady like a street lamp, nor was it random like faulty electricity. It pulsed, like something alive. He lived in a quiet neighborhood just outside of Portland, Oregon. It wasn't the kind of place where strange things happened. Families left their doors unlocked, kids rode their bikes until late in the evening, and the biggest scare you'd expect was a raccoon knocking over a trash can. But Daniel's nights had begun to feel different. He was 17, restless, and often stayed up late playing video games or scrolling through his phone. That's when the glow always came, creeping along the edge of his closet door, as if someone had left a light on inside. Except there was no light bulb in his closet. No outlet either. Just shelves packed with old clothes, forgotten toys, and boxes his parents never unpacked after they moved in. He told himself it had to be headlights from a car outside, bouncing in at the perfect angle. But the thing that bothered him most was how consistent it was. Every night, around 12:30 a.m., the same glow. The same pulse. One night, curiosity got the better of him. He sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the closet. The glow shimmered faintly, leaking from the cracks where the sliding doors met. His room was silent, except for the hum of his fan. His phone buzzed with a message, but he ignored it. Something about the light held him in place, as if daring him to move closer. He stood up. His feet felt heavy, like walking through water, but he forced himself across the room. The glow brightened as he approached, shifting from pale white to a warmer, golden hue, like candlelight. His hand trembled as he reached for the closet handle. A logical voice in his head screamed to stop, that it wasn't worth it, that he was about to find out something he didn't want to know. But another voice, louder and sharper, whispered that he had to see. He slid the door open just a crack. The glow spilled out stronger now, cutting across his carpet in a thin line. He opened it wider. The closet was filled with the same clutter as always, stacked boxes, hanging shirts, a baseball glove he hadn't used in years. But behind those things, deeper in the shadows, the light was pouring through as if from another source. It wasn't coming from inside the closet, it was seeping through it. Daniel's breath caught. He leaned forward, squinting. His closet wall seemed thinner, somehow. The plaster looked like frosted glass, glowing faintly from the other side. He reached out a hand and pressed his fingers against it. Warm. Too warm. His stomach twisted. Then, just for a moment, the glow dimmed, and Daniel swore he saw something move in the dark behind it. A shape. A figure. Watching him from the other side. He stumbled back, heart pounding. The glow pulsed again, stronger this time, as though it was responding to his fear. He slammed the closet door shut, backed away, and sat on his bed shaking. For the rest of the night, he didn't dare look at it again. The next morning, he tried to tell himself it was nothing. Just his imagination, or maybe a reflection from somewhere he hadn't noticed. But all day long, the thought lingered, if there was nothing there, why had he seen that shadow? Why had it felt like something was standing there, waiting for him? That night, when the glow returned, it seemed brighter than before. Almost eager. The second night, Daniel tried to prepare himself. He told his parents he wasn't feeling well and went to bed earlier than usual, though he knew sleep wouldn't come easy. His parents didn't notice anything strange, why would they? To them, the house was just as ordinary as the day they bought it. But Daniel felt the truth gnawing at him. Something about that closet wasn't ordinary, and whatever was inside wasn't staying hidden anymore. He lay in bed with the lights off, covers pulled to his chest, staring at the sliding doors across the room. His phone sat on his nightstand, the clock glowing in the dark, 12:27 a.m. His pulse quickened. The room was silent except for the faint ticking of his wall clock. At exactly 12:30, the glow appeared. Faint at first, then pulsing brighter, bleeding through the seam of the closet doors. Daniel's stomach tightened. It was exactly as before, consistent, rhythmic, like a heartbeat. He wanted to tell himself it was headlights again, but there hadn't been a single car outside. His street was quiet, everyone asleep. This time, Daniel didn't wait. He sat up, grabbed the flashlight from his drawer, and clicked it on. The yellow beam cut across the room, landing on the closet. For a split second, the glow behind the doors seemed to recoil, dimming slightly, like it didn't want to be exposed. That alone made Daniel's skin crawl. He stood, clutching the flashlight like a weapon. "It's nothing," he muttered under his breath, trying to steady himself. "It's nothing, just. I don't know. Something weird with the wall." His voice sounded hollow in the quiet. He approached the closet again. His feet dragged against the carpet, and every step felt like stepping into deeper water. He placed his hand on the door handle, took a deep breath, and slid it open. The glow was stronger now, almost blinding. It wasn't soft anymore, it was sharp, a piercing light that stung his eyes. The clutter in the closet looked washed out, pale and distorted. The wall at the back of the closet shimmered faintly, not solid anymore, like heat waves rising off asphalt. Daniel raised the flashlight and shone it directly at the wall. The glow didn't fade. Instead, the shimmering deepened, and suddenly he could see through it. On the other side was darkness. Not empty darkness, but thick, moving shadows that seemed to pulse with the light itself. And then, the figure appeared again. This time, Daniel saw it more clearly. It was tall, too tall for the small space behind the wall. Its head nearly touched the ceiling. Its body was thin, stretched unnaturally, limbs too long, hands hanging down past where knees should have been. Its face, or what should have been a face, was obscured, hidden by the glow, but Daniel could feel its gaze. Heavy. Penetrating. It was looking right at him. The flashlight shook in his hand. "No," Daniel whispered. His throat felt dry. "You're not real." But the figure leaned closer, pressing against the thin, glowing barrier. The closet wall bulged outward, the plaster stretching as though something was trying to push through. Daniel stumbled back, nearly tripping over his bed. "Stop it," he shouted, but his voice cracked. The glow flickered violently, bright dark, faster than before. And with each flicker, Daniel thought he heard something faint, like whispers leaking into the room. The language was unfamiliar, guttural and sharp, but it curled into his ears like smoke. His head pounded. Then, just as quickly as it started, everything stopped. The glow snapped out. The closet was dark again. Silent. Daniel stood frozen, his chest heaving. The flashlight beam shook wildly as his hands trembled. He aimed it at the wall, nothing. Just solid plaster, as ordinary as ever. The closet looked like it always had, dusty shelves, old clothes, boxes stacked high. No shimmering. No glow. No figure. He slammed the closet door shut and backed against his bed, sweat dripping down his temples. His body felt weak, his legs barely able to hold him. He crawled under the covers, pulling them to his chin, shaking so badly he couldn't stop his teeth from chattering. Minutes crawled by. Hours maybe. But he didn't close his eyes once. By the time morning came, the sun streaming through his window, the closet looked perfectly harmless. His parents called him downstairs for breakfast like nothing had happened. But Daniel knew. The figure wasn't gone. The light wasn't gone. It was waiting for the next night. And something told him, it wouldn't just stay behind the wall forever. The third night was worse. Daniel swore he wouldn't look. He swore he'd just stay in bed, keep the blanket over his head, and ignore whatever came. But fear has a way of dragging your eyes where they shouldn't go. All day, he'd felt off. At school, he could barely focus. His friends noticed his pale face and the dark circles under his eyes. "You look like hell, man," his buddy Ryan joked at lunch. Daniel laughed it off, but inside, he wanted to tell him everything. He wanted to scream that there was something living in his closet, waiting for him. But he knew how it would sound, like some dumb campfire story. By evening, his nerves were unraveling. He avoided his room, lingering downstairs with his parents, watching TV he didn't care about. But eventually, bedtime came. His mom kissed his forehead, something she hadn't done in years, and told him to get some rest. He almost begged her to let him sleep on the couch. But the words never made it out of his mouth. By midnight, he was back in his room, staring at the clock again. His heart counted down each minute. 12:28, 12:29. 12:30. The glow returned. Daniel squeezed his eyes shut, pressing his palms against his face. "Don't look. Don't look," he whispered. But when the light pulsed stronger, painting golden streaks across the inside of his eyelids, he gave in. His eyes flicked open. The closet was alive with light, brighter than before. The doors vibrated slightly, like something heavy was pushing against them. Daniel sat up, frozen in place. His phone buzzed on the nightstand, Ryan sending a stupid meme, but he ignored it. Every nerve in his body screamed at him to run. But he couldn't. The doors slid open on their own. A slow, scraping sound echoed through the room as one door shifted left, then the other right. The glow poured out, bathing his room in harsh light. Daniel's skin prickled. His breathing turned shallow. He wanted to scream, but the sound stuck in his throat. The figure stepped forward. No longer hidden behind the wall, it emerged fully into the room. Its body unfolded like a shadow peeling off the darkness, limbs too long and crooked, joints bending the wrong way. Its skin was pale, stretched thin, almost translucent, with veins pulsing faintly beneath. Its face was worse, smooth, featureless at first, until the light rippled across it and carved the faint outline of eyes. Hollow sockets, black and endless, locked onto Daniel. He scrambled back against the headboard. "Stay away," he croaked. His flashlight sat useless on the nightstand, but even if he grabbed it, what good would it do now? The figure tilted its head slowly, like it was studying him. The whispers returned, clearer this time. The words were still in that harsh, guttural language, but Daniel's ears burned with each syllable, as if the sound was burrowing into his skull. His vision blurred. He clutched his head, teeth grinding. "Stop," he screamed. The whispers cut off instantly. The figure froze. Then, to Daniel's horror, it mimicked him. "Stop," it said in a low, distorted voice. Not quite human. Too deep. Too broken. Daniel's stomach dropped. It wasn't just whispering, it was learning. The figure took a step closer. The floorboards creaked under its weight. The light dimmed, no longer golden but sickly, flickering greenish-white, washing the room in a nauseating glow. Daniel's posters peeled slightly from the walls as if the air itself had grown damp. His body moved before his brain could think. He dove off the bed, grabbed the doorknob, and yanked it open. The hallway beyond was dark, but at least it wasn't glowing. He sprinted down the stairs, nearly tripping, his breath coming in ragged gasps. "Mom! Dad!" he shouted, his voice cracking. "Help!" His parents' bedroom door opened, his father stumbling out in confusion. "What the hell is going on?" he barked, rubbing his eyes. "There's something in my room." Daniel screamed. His voice was shrill, panicked, the words tumbling out too fast. "It came out of the closet, I swear to God." But when his father stormed upstairs, Daniel trailing behind, the room was empty. No light. No whispers. No figure. The closet doors were shut tight. "See," his father said, opening the doors with a dramatic swing. Just clothes. Just boxes. Just shadows. Nothing in here but your imagination. Daniel's mother appeared in the doorway, concern etched on her face. Honey, maybe he's been having nightmares. Stress from school. I wasn't dreaming. Daniel shouted, his voice breaking. It was real. I saw it. His father sighed, exasperated. Enough. Go to bed. Both of us have work in the morning. Daniel wanted to argue, to beg them to believe him. But the words died in his throat when he glanced at the closet. For just a split second, before his dad shut the doors again, he saw the glow. Faint. Pulsing. Waiting. Daniel didn't sleep that night. Even after his father shut the closet doors and left, the image of the figure burned into his mind like an afterimage from staring at the sun too long. Every time he blinked, he saw its hollow sockets, the unnatural bend of its limbs, the way it had mimicked his voice. By sunrise, he was exhausted. His eyes were bloodshot, his hands shaky as he poured cereal into a bowl he didn't eat. His mother fussed over him, asking if he wanted to stay home from school. He almost said yes, but the thought of being alone in the house with that thing made his chest tighten. He forced himself out the door. School should have been a distraction, but it wasn't. The whispers followed him. Not loud, not clear, but faint. Between classes, while walking down crowded halls, he thought he heard them, like someone muttering behind his shoulder. Once, in history class, he caught himself staring at the classroom closet, expecting to see light seeping through the cracks. He blinked, and it was gone. Ryan noticed. Dude, seriously. What's up with you? You look like you're being haunted or something. Daniel laughed weakly, but the sound didn't convince either of them. Haunted was exactly how he felt. By the time he got home, dread had already settled in his stomach. He lingered outside, sitting on the porch steps, hoping his parents wouldn't notice how long he stayed there. The house loomed behind him, quiet and ordinary in the daylight. But he knew the truth, when night came, it would change. He lasted until almost midnight downstairs, pretending to watch TV. His parents had gone to bed hours ago, leaving him alone with the hum of the refrigerator and the occasional creak of the house. Every sound made him flinch. Finally, against every instinct, he forced himself back upstairs. His room looked normal. Too normal. The closet sat still, its doors shut, no glow bleeding through. Daniel tried to convince himself it wouldn't happen tonight. Maybe it was gone. Maybe it had just been his mind playing tricks on him. At 12:30, the glow returned. This time, it didn't just stay in the closet. The light seeped across the carpet like liquid, curling toward his bed, crawling up the sheets. Daniel shot upright, heart hammering. The whispers surged again, louder now, words scratching at his ears. He clamped his hands over them, but it didn't help, the sound wasn't outside. It was inside his head. The closet doors shuddered, then slid open on their own. The figure stepped out. Taller. Clearer. Its face now carried more shape, deep sockets, a suggestion of a mouth, skin stretched so tight over bone that it looked ready to tear. Its arms swung at its sides, fingers curling into claws. Daniel bolted for the door. He ran into the hallway, bare feet slapping the wood floor. But as he passed the bathroom, something made him stop cold. The mirror above the sink was glowing. His breath caught. The same golden light bled from its edges, pulsing like a heartbeat. For a moment, Daniel was too stunned to move. Then, slowly, he stepped closer. The reflection was wrong. His own face stared back at him, but it wasn't moving in sync. His mouth was closed, yet in the mirror, his reflection whispered. The words were muffled, the same guttural sounds from the closet. Daniel staggered back, horror flooding through him. His reflection grinned, a wide, unnatural grin that split his face ear to ear. The whispers rose into a screech. The bathroom light flickered violently. The mirror rippled, like the glass had turned into water. And from the other side, a pale hand pressed against it. Daniel screamed and ran. He tore into his parents' room, slamming the door behind him. "It's here. It's in the house," he cried, shaking his father awake. His mother sat up, terrified by his hysteria. "Daniel, what are you talking about?" his father demanded, groggy and irritated. "It's not just the closet, it's everywhere. The mirrors, the walls, it's getting out." Daniel's words spilled too fast, his chest heaving. His father pushed him toward the door. "Enough of this. You're scaring your mother." But Daniel refused to leave. He clutched his father's arm, trembling. "Please. Please, you have to believe me. It's real. It's coming through." Before his father could respond, a sound filled the room. A low, distorted voice. "Please, please, you have to believe me." The same words Daniel had just said, repeated perfectly, but not by him. The voice came from the corner of the ChatGPT said. "Thought for success. Sorry, the last message cut off. Here is the full seamless story again, all 6 parts combined, no headings, no cuts." Every night around the same time, Daniel would notice it. A faint, flickering glow bleeding into the corners of his room, soft but steady enough to pull his attention away from whatever he was doing. At first, he thought it was nothing more than an electrical glitch, maybe the old wiring in his family's suburban house sparking behind the walls, or a reflection from a street lamp outside. But the glow wasn't steady like a street lamp, nor was it random like faulty electricity. It pulsed, like something alive. He lived in a quiet neighborhood just outside of Portland, Oregon. It wasn't the kind of place where strange things happened. Families left their doors unlocked, kids rode their bikes until late in the evening, and the biggest scare you'd expect was a raccoon knocking over a trash can. But Daniel's nights had begun to feel different. He was 17, restless, and often stayed up late playing video games or scrolling through his phone. That's when the glow always came, creeping along the edge of his closet door, as if someone had left a light on inside. Except there was no light bulb in his closet. No outlet either. Just shelves packed with old clothes, forgotten toys, and boxes his parents never unpacked after they moved in. He told himself it had to be headlights from a car outside, bouncing in at the perfect angle. But the thing that bothered him most was how consistent it was. Every night, around 12:30 a.m., the same glow. The same pulse. One night, curiosity got the better of him. He sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the closet. The glow shimmered faintly, leaking from the cracks where the sliding doors met. His room was silent, except for the hum of his fan. His phone buzzed with a message, but he ignored it. Something about the light he